Hello and welcome to the Green Island Podcast. I'm Bernard Sheehan, joined as always by my co-author of Hard Border in the Green Island novel series, James Sheehan. Thank you for joining us this evening. Please feel free to like and subscribe here, either on YouTube or also, the alternate platform there. We'd love to have folks join us there. I think that YouTube tends to not like us mentioning them, so you know where we are. James, thanks for joining. Appreciate it.
Happy to be here. Thanks very much.
Yeah, we're not in our normal cadence. We're getting back into it. We've had folks, some of us have been sick and dealing with, not being well. So we're trying to get back into it here. But appreciate everybody listening. But Jay, in the middle, since that time, there was a big rally in Dublin on May the 6th. Again, kind of protesting, immigration or way over immigration, people just flooding in, and there were thousands of people in the streets of Dublin. So it was pretty cool to kind of see that level of engagement out there, that folks are really getting more and more aware of it. I mean, it's not stopping the government. They're still bussing people out. Even the other day to Castle Island, I believe, they were bussing people out there to, kind of the furthest parts of the country, and, police escorts and everything, bringing them into town. So the government hasn't changed its policies at all, but the people seem to be pretty awake, and, hopefully there will be electoral consequences.
Yeah, you would think so, but who are they going to elect?
Yeah, it reminds me of
there's a reason why they're doing this to Ireland, because Irish are the sheep, and they've been allowing this to happen.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's almost like that old Simpsons episode way back when you found out that both candidates for president, I think it was like Clinton Gore back then, or sorry, not Clinton, Clinton and Bob Dole, and they both turned out to be aliens. It's like, who are you going to go vote for? It's a two-party system. That's all that you've got to pick one of the aliens, and now we're living that. But it's I don't know who they're going to vote for, but they need to start switching out candidates and making their voices heard. Yeah, it looked like there were, thousands of people at that demonstration in Dublin on May 6th. So that was a pretty good turnout. Hopefully, again, that will, be showing up in the polls, or that they'll be able to start forcing people out. I think they're also seeing, all these other people who are resigning and trying to get out of politics or move into other things. That's a pretty good start, if nothing else.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. Maybe they're waking up. It would have been better if they woke up a long time ago. But again, it's a small country, and there's a lot of peer pressure having lived there for people to conform, and it's so small, it's 1 degree of separation. So hopefully there's a spark there, especially if they're trying to replace the existing population with a new population. So there it is. We'll see what happens.
Well, it was hitting Dublin 4 there the other day, and they were all like, oh, I never thought we'd see this and, happening here. It's just like, yeah, that's why you voted for it, because you don't care if it shows up in anywhere else around the country. It's just when it affects you, that's when you finally start to open your eyes and care. Not that that's going to change, but hey, at least they're, getting a taste of their own medicine.
Exactly. And those are the worst of the worst in D4. I mean, they're the ones that are like the people that vote for it and never think they'll see it. It's just they're the loons, pretty much.
Yep, exactly.
The elites, effectively.
Yep. So it's good that they're starting to see some little tent cities over there as well, and hopefully, I mean, I think they have that two-pronged problem, right? Where not only do they have their own out of control immigration, again, just like the States, but England is starting to clamp down. So everybody's getting out of Great Britain or Northern Ireland and getting into Ireland, and seeing that, hey, the benefits are way better here. So it's an issue with both. But again, we'll just watch and see. We're not on the ground there, but I thought that was a real positive response. You saw a lot of older folks too, kind of leading the charge. So hopefully it'll be, maybe there's a turn here. It was, just kind of switching over. As we record this, the Eurovision song competition also ended, and Ireland's entry did not win, which was fantastic.
Wonderful.
That was great. She lost out to Israel, and it was like a whole thing. She's there crying, and it was just beautiful to see. This woman, this Bambi thug, and she's just like, oh yeah, screw the EBU, blah blah blah, and I don't even care anymore. It's like, obviously you care. You're crying. You thought you were shooing with your little satanic act there. So it's great to see. I love it when it comes crashing down on them. You love to see it, and it's just fantastic, because she thought, I'm sure, that she was going to run away with it, and now she's going to be back to just being some chick out of Cork or wherever the hell she is and wherever she's from. So just a nobody. So bye.
Exactly. Her modern day witchery, but again, it kind of goes back to the Irish elites, or they have like it's kind of their BBC RTE. It's the only, like, they have TV licenses. Depending on how many TVs you have in your house, you got to pay a tax for these guys to have a public kind of RTE, kind of a public broadcasting channel. It's only like 2 channels. We don't need them anymore, but all those people on there are like, oh, it's so great, and she's just bringing so much to the table and all this crap. I'm like, you guys, you're just such sheep. But it's not even sheep. They're just being told what to do with people's tax dollars. And like, no one wants these TV, it was kind of pushed upon.
Yeah.
She was probably sought out, to be honest with you, to enter. They probably went to go get her, just like an AOC kind of, let's bring her forward. She didn't really have the wherewithal to enter in herself. They just want to, bring that forward, and then we'll publicize it. It's crazy, but like, it just shows these public broadcasting channels like the Americans NPR just need to go. And get off the tax dollars of the people, because they're just, it's like the people are paying to have their minds warped, by these people.
Well, and we know, because all we had was RT 1 and 2 for so long, is that they both suck. It's like, let's just dump them, get rid of them, or people can go online and watch stuff now. I mean, stuff, YouTube or Netflix or anything like that. We'll be talking about Netflix here in a little bit. Who cares about these TV stations? And they're ridiculous. So
the only ones that care are the people that are on them, making $500,000 a year for doing jack all.
And the administrators.
Yeah, or just crazy, and it's all kind of fiefdom of kind of old Ireland, and then they have their relatives roughly taking over for them. It's just complete communism, and they're all making hundreds of thousands for doing a show a day, if even, and it's all rubbish, and it's just again, another thing with Ireland. But yeah, everybody who has a TV or screen in their house has to pay a tax, and no one really does. Kind of, they tried to, but the guy knocks on the door. If you let him in, like, he'll tax you and he'll fine you if you didn't pay the tax. And welcome to Ireland,
Exactly.
Even and it's kind of like, well, I don't even use it I don't watch TV. I use it for the internet. Too bad, tax.
Right.
Yep. It's crazy.
Yep. So
anyway, well, that's a good move. Anyway, that's a good move. At least people are waking up.
Yep. Exactly. So with that, one of the things that we've talked about before, we want to keep this not always on politics, and have some things that are a little bit lighter, just maybe some of the positive things about Ireland in general. And I know, while Ireland is not known for it, there is some good food there, especially Irish breakfast is absolutely fantastic. So just wanted to touch on that a little bit. And I think it kind of begins with the full Irish fry, right?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say their breakfast is great. It's really just the fry. I mean, you ask them for omelets, you ask them for eggs Benedict, they don't know what you're talking about almost, or, any type of, it's more like their fry is their breakfast. That's what they have in all the restaurants and all the hotels. It's like the Irish fry, which some people would say it's equivalent to the English fry, but I just made it again this weekend, the Irish fry, and it was pretty awesome. And it consists of like Ham, which is really, I use bacon, like American bacon, because I can't go back to the ham. My wife can't go back to the ham. It's kind of,
Yeah.
they kind of do what they consider bacon, but it's really just a thick piece of, or it's a thin piece of ham. But usually their sausages are amazing. They really have great sausages in Ireland. Then it's or eggs, and it's like baked beans and like toast, and then I have hash browns, which I
Okay.
do up in the air fryer real quick, and then I throw them after I've done the bacon. I throw them on the pan to give them that little crisp and like that bacon fat flavor, and boom. Like some people will throw mushrooms in there, but I think that's a little overkill. But it's man, like we devoured it. We had extras, and like we just couldn't stop eating. We just devoured it, and it filled us up for the day. It was awesome. Like we kind of now are doing it maybe once a month just to kind of get that. But man, it's awesome. And then some toast on the side, and then a cup of coffee to wash it down, and you're just laughing.
Well, I think the Irish bacon is really nice versus, kind of like the American style or what they would call streaky bacon. It's kind of like that extra thick, bacon there. It does have like a rind on it, but it's got really nice flavor and it's salty. But, I think that's everybody's taste. Also, as you mentioned, the Irish sausages are second to none. I mean, I get Irish sausages in America at a local Irish place that does make them themselves, but it's really not the same as even like a pack of Denny's sausages or something. I mean, they're fantastic and they're great any time of day. So I love just either having them for breakfast or throwing them in like the deep fryer with fries or something. I mean, those sausages are just fantastic. But one of the components that you kind of swapped out
Missed on
was
person.
is probably tea, right? You like versus
Oh,
coffee. Like,
I thought you were going to mention the black pudding, but we'll get to that in a minute.
yeah, we can talk about that here in a minute too, because I know that's very controversial. But the what do you call it? Just like that hot coffee in the morning, especially, or I'm sorry, hot tea, excuse me, in the morning, especially on a rainy day, which is like 90% of the time, just really is kind of like just so comforting and really starts the day off. And you also had mentioned toast. Having that toast around is great, but having a piece of brown bread is really fantastic.
Right.
So you've got, I think in the Irish breakfast, like, yeah, you've got a lot of things, but it's a lot of components too that are really make it up and kind of get swapped out. Like you said, the mushrooms, but a lot of people will take like a tomato and fry that up a little bit.
That's right.
And that's got like a really nice kind of sweetness in the morning. So, I think
Well, that kind of substitutes for people's choice of ketchup. Like, it's kind of the
okay.
tomato or the baked beans kind of helps
Yeah.
it kind of lubricate it. Where, if you like your sausages, I like the little ketchup on my sausage, on the side, but people kind of use the baked beans or the tomato or whatnot. But just touching on the bread, I think Ireland do have maybe the best white and brown bread in the
Yeah.
world. I mean, their white bread is bar none the best. I've been all over the world, all four corners, and their white bread is bar none the best. Berries, or what is it called? Yeah, I think it's berries or something like that.
Yeah,
It's
just
huge.
the pan, just the average.
Pan.
They call it pan. Your sliced white bread, and
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the name too, and I think it begins with a B. But I actually can get that. It's imported here, and I get that at my local Irish store, where I get the sausages as well, and it's fantastic because you're right. There's nothing like it. I mean, I pay an arm and a leg for a stupid, whatever. Kind of thing of bread, your average loaf, but it's imported. You're paying that price, but there's nothing like that bread out there. I mean, it is just fantastic, and it toasts up so well. It's got that mixture of kind of crispiness and kind of softness. Like it still has almost like softness in the middle, even though it's very crunchy and crispy on the outside. But it just toasts up so well, and it's just great with slathering on kind of Kerrygold butter or pick your spread. It's just really, really good. So I think it's one of the kind of the best breakfasts out.
Well, 100%, absolutely. And I've probably finish off on the scone. the Irish scone,
Ooh,
which can't be beat. It's the unmatched, like if you don't want the full breakfast and you just want that cup of tea and you want a scone, the scone is, it's like, the American donut almost, but there's nothing with butter. It's just unbelievable. It just can't be beat, the scones. I'm going to start trying to make them here now, from
nice.
scratch, because they're just, it's just, so they do have, should we say, the milk, the butter, the bread, the sausage and the meat. They really do have probably the best in the world, in all
Yep.
fairness to them, and it just has that unique taste of Ireland, which you think it wouldn't. But even from hamburgers up, that just Irish meat is unbeatable, but their breads and their butters and their milk is just, bar none. Again, I've had it all four corners of the world and nothing can beat it, really. They really do have that on lockdown.
Yeah, and as they would say in the States here, like you can really a lot of the times track your meat. I mean, we often got it from the our local butcher who we were related to, and we knew exactly where that cow was coming from and how that was treated and everything else. So it was like just amazing to get that quality, have that availability to you, and you don't really have that much anymore, but you just knew
No, because
everything was
they can't put the
perfect.
vaccine in it if they know where it's coming from,
Yeah, yeah.
Can't sneak it in.
Yep. And one last thing, just to be a little controversial, Irish soda bread, I do not like it. I do not think it is
Here, here.
good. It is,
No, here,
it
here.
is just like the driest thing in the world. So all the other stuff can be swapped out, and you can just leave soda bread to the side.
That's right, exactly. And the brown bread is bar none the best too. In all fairness, but I think the white bread. I mean, I was a peanut butter and jelly guy growing up, still am,
Sure.
and it is the best peanut butter and jelly on that white bread. And it's so
Mm,
big; it's like almost two or three like two sandwiches. It's awesome.
yeah.
Remember, we used to kind of export Jif peanut butter or import it to Ireland when we'd go for the summer,
Yep.
and that was just my heaven getting that, because really now in this day and age, I mean, that peanut butter and jelly sandwich, it's not a sandwich, it's a dessert,
It is, yeah. What now that we're adults and you look at it and you're
Yes.
just like, oh, there's sugar in every component, and you're just slathering it on there, and but heck, they also had protein too. So, a lot back in the day, and I know this was kind of propaganda or whatever, but they would say like cereal and having frosted flakes was really good for kids because that sugar that gave them energy out the door, and you had that and the vitamins and you had the cereal, it was all in one thing. But now maybe it is okay for kids, but for adults it's definitely not something you want to have every day.
No, but Frosted Flakes, as you mentioned, is just an amazing cereal,
It
and one
is.
of my tops. Just it's just amazing. But yeah, like it's just we got to watch our insulin now, and I think
Right.
we're living in the day and age, which is great that we do realize now kind of what is good for you and what is like. I mean, it really just comes down to sugar,
Yeah.
like avoid or kind of maintaining your sugar, just keeping it to a minimal, or maybe just eating it once a like what I do kind of to lose weight is I just eat like once a day, and I don't care how much sugar I eat within that one meal. It's kind of, I call it a one sitting, because like, it used to be like, if you go to a wedding, it's kind of one sitting, it doesn't get done in an hour, but you could also be done in a half hour, but it's really sugar maintenance. So I'm kind of cutting out coffees because I can't drink black coffee with no food. It kind of hurts my stomach,
Yeah.
so I'm kind of just green tea in it, which is just bland with a little bit of lemon, and that kind of gets me up to my meal time, and boom, I'll stuff in. I don't care what. If I have a full meal, I might still throw a peanut butter and jelly sandwich at the front of it just while I'm cooking it. Who cares?
Well, that is a legitimate fasting strategy, is what they call OMAD, one meal a day. And it's
Yes.
so you're basically fasting 23 hours and then you eat for your eating window as an hour and then you have the rest of the time to reset it. So that is definitely an intermittent fasting practice that people follow.
Yeah, and I've adjusted it because you kind of like, I'm not a saint, so I do like a few beers, a few wines and stuff. So like I will hold off till dinner, and then after dinner I'm into drinking. So it's kind of that one meal could last 4 hours,
Yep.
5 hours. Like as long as I'm kind of not stopping and starting up 3 hours later for another fresh one, I'm kind of just keeping the engines rolling.
Well,
so
do
to
you
speak, you know?
do you ever have the breakfast food for dinner? Have you done that yet? Because that's a nice treat. Where it's
I
like, oh,
have the
let's
little
have breakfast for
kids and I'm
dinner.
trying to introduce it, but my wife is just like, because we're such like buffet, like we like the good not buffet,
Yep.
pardon me, but the brunch at like, I might do a quick work in the morning on Saturdays and then I'm home at 11 and like we'll do the brunch and I might do 2 meals a day then, like I'm not going to do one meal every single day, but I'm trying to do a majority of the week just to kind of keep off the weight because I'm not as exercise prone as I should be. But however, it's just like I'm trying to get the kids into like pancakes and bacon at night and
Hmm.
stuff like that. But my wife kind of puts a kibosh to it because like that's our brunch meal, and
Right.
let's not overdo it and stuff like that. And the brunch is kind of our particular favorite. Just it's family time, where
Yep.
dinner it's like the kids don't eat meat and the steak and potatoes or and so I'm feeding them more like the peanut butter sandwich or whatever, which they're so small. So brunch is kind of the kids will eat the sausages or the bacon or like the toast. And so it's kind of our family meal really is the brunch. So, I loved it because that's what we grew up with, kind of
Right. I
having
was going to
breakfast and
say.
dinner on occasion.
Yep, that's it. And it's also was really good during Lent too, because you could have kind of eggs and pancakes, and you're not it's a meatless option, and it's
100%.
fun. But that's the thing too. Just back to the Irish breakfast, a lot of times you get a fried egg and you get one egg. It's like, what's the deal? Why are you rationing out the egg? You'll get all kinds of bacon, but one egg is. I just didn't understand that. I don't know if that's your experience too. It's like, can I have two eggs? Is that possible?
Oh, I
Or
would demand two
it's
eggs.
just,
Like
okay.
I can't do one egg. It's like that's a teaser,
Yeah,
and I'm
there's
not
not.
really a scrambled egg kind of guy.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
I mean, some buffets in Ireland at the hotels will do scrambled egg, but they always have the fried eggs kind of under the heat lamp that you can grab, have the guy pop one or two. But I mean, doing one egg is almost sacrilege for me. I need the two eggs to get
Well,
me, to make it worth it.
well, the yolk, you want the runny yolk all over the place as well. That's some more kind of wet, if you
Two
like,
pieces
as a
of
part of it.
toast,
Yeah, and two
you
pieces of
know?
toast. I mean, alternatively, one of the things that we didn't mention is we kind of talked about cereal a little bit is Weetabix. That's that
Yes.
was pretty good too. That was a good. I mean, I guess I appreciated it more and more as I got older because, like, as a kid, you're like, you really want to have, you know, kind of that slab of wheat or shredded wheat or whatever. But it was really nice. It was also nice and warm, kind of coming out of the
Well, see,
microwave.
yeah, you had to heat it up, and I had my regimen for Weetabix, like that was my morning, but I slathered it in sugar.
Yeah.
Like, so I put the two pieces in, I'd put the cold milk, I put it in the microwave for about 130. It'd come out piping, I'd slather it in sugar, a little bit more milk, just a tad to kind of cool it off, and boom. But nowadays, like that's all carbs to a degree.
Right.
It's just like
Yep.
that's a no-go,
Yep.
It's kind of oatmeal's almost a no-go for me because I'm using up a meal for it when it's just like I don't really need the energy. I still have a good bit of fat on me that I can burn for the
Yep.
morning. So I'm kind of trying to not eat until 2 and not drinking like and to
That's,
be honest with you, you feel so much better without drinking coffee. Like I cut out coffee and I'm still like trying to dabble with it because you once you give it up, like I was doing it for Lent or up till Easter, and I lost like 20 pounds. It was great, but then once you get out of it, man, it's so hard to get back into it because you got to go through like that initial 2 or 3 weeks of just like starving
that's
or
right.
feeling that hunger, and boom, it's like I'm just starting up actually today, which is because I just couldn't because I'd like, oh man, I really need that cup of coffee, and then every time my wife would have the cup of coffee in the morning with before work, it's just like, man, I feel like crap. It's just the milk or something. It's just like, damn. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's almost like a placebo or something in your head that you have to have the coffee and you really don't.
Definitely. Definitely. So, we'll gosh, that sounds good. Right now, I'm recording this fairly late at night, but everything sounds really good.
Well, to be honest with you, Bern, like I was a big like I'm kind of when I'm home now, like I'll do the full Irish, but I still like the pancakes. Like I'm a Grand Slam Denny's guy, where like when I'm doing pancakes, it really my wife will be like, okay, pancakes and bacon, and that's great, the American style. But I'm like, I really need two eggs on the side as well. Just I'm a Denny's. That's what I grew up with. We used to go to Denny's for dinner. It
Yep.
was the Grand Slam. before all this stuff came out, and the Grand Slam's maybe the best meal perhaps ever. Not today, but back in the day. I
Yeah.
brought my wife to Denny's when because we were both from Ireland, first time back to America. I'm like, we got to hit up Denny's. Like, I think they revamped it. It's like $14 or something. And my sister's like, what the hell are you going Denny's for? It's like horrible. It's just like, and it really didn't match up to the experience I had.
No, but a lot of stuff doesn't. I've done that with places that we used to go to as kids and get, like pizza from like our pizza place down the road we would get after church, and it did not hold up to my memory. But there's other things that you have where you're just like, that's exactly the way I remember it. It's absolutely fantastic. But that's one of the ones that, you know, Denny's is probably going to make you ill more than anything else, unfortunately. And pancakes are great, but if you want to talk about looking out for sugar, man, that is a sugar
That's
load
right.
right there.
100%.
But
100%. But I mean, I honestly think breakfast is the best meal of the day.
yeah, for sure.
You can make all the steak you want, but steak is steak. And I actually prefer a good burger over a steak because at least there's some variation in it, but steak is steak.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I like breakfast food at any time during the day. So that's like the thing
Yes.
that I was thinking of was like, my wife and I every once in a while will be like, okay, we're having breakfast for dinner, and we'll
That'd
either
be
do
awesome.
like a salty with or we will do pancakes or something. So it's fun. But anyway, thanks for joining us today, and more to come. And we'll keep on going from here and continue to talk about modern day Ireland, and again capture a fair amount of that in our Green Island novels and in Hard Border specifically. So thanks everyone for hopping on. Appreciate it. And we'll talk to you soon, Jake.
Thank you very much.